When it comes to style, few shows do it better than Peaky Blinders. From the cinematography to the production design to the costumes, every frame looks like a vintage magazine cover. It has its own distinct aesthetic that sets it apart from other period dramas. But what makes this show so stylish also becomes its downfall. Let me explain. We light a cigarette and pull the curtain back. First off, let's talk about Tommy Shelby. He is undoubtedly an icon. The way Cillian Murphy portrays him is both captivating and terrifying. But let's be real, Tommy isn't the most complex character out there. His internal monologue can be summarized as follows. I am the smartest, most ruthless person in this room. Now I must figure out how to use my intellect and cunning to get what I want, while also overcoming the trauma of losing my brother and/or having a psychotic break. Oh, and did I mention I'm a war hero? Because I am. There's not much depth to his character, but whatever. He looks good, he's got a great hat collection, and that accent. Oh my god, that accent. I could listen to him say proper and gammon all day long. And let's not forget the iconic scenes where he stares intensely into the distance while we hear the thoughts in his head. Those are the moments that make us fall in love with Tommy despite his lack of depth. Next, let's discuss Arthur's arc. It went in circles. In Season 1, he's introduced as the hot-headed, impulsive member of the Shelby clan. Fast forward to later seasons, and he's still the hot-headed, impulsive member of the Shelby clan. Sure, there are moments of growth where he displays intelligence and strategic thinking, but those moments are few and far between. Most of the time, he's just being reckless and ruining everything. And by the end of the series, he goes completely off the deep end, literally. We don't see this coming until he starts talking about shooting people in the woods. This feels like a betrayal of the character because up until this point, he's shown glimpses of maturity and responsibility. But then, without much buildup, he's reduced to being a one-dimensional villain. What happened, Arthur? We hardly recognize you, man. But it's not just the characters. The direction is amazing. Anthony Byrne does a fantastic job of creating a stylish, immersive world that draws you in from the first episode. The camera angles, the lighting, the color choices, it all works together to transport you to 1920s England. If you're a fan of period dramas, you'll appreciate the attention to detail. However, to say that Peaky Blinders is a slow burn would be a disservice to the word slow. It burns at the pace of a glacier. While some might enjoy the leisurely pacing, others might find it a bit dull, especially when the plot is so thin you can see the strings. It feels like the show is more interested in style over substance. There's a lot of look how beautiful this scene is, rather than what are these characters doing and why should I care? Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being stylish. In fact, it's a good thing. But when the plot is so weak it feels like it's going to snap under the weight of its own magnificence, you know you've taken style too far. Now, let's talk about Season 5 and 6. These two seasons are just vibes. They discarded the pretense of having a coherent plot and embraced the power of I don't givers energy. At this point, it doesn't matter if you can't keep track of the plot because there isn't one. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. But this also contributes to the feeling of the show running out of steam. By the time we get to Season 6, we're just exhausted. The characters are exhausted, the plot is exhausted, and so are we. And then the ending happens, and it feels rushed. Like they just wanted to be done. There's no closure, no sense of resolution. It's like they killed the show to save it. And I respect that. In conclusion, Peaky Blinders is a show that could have been so much more. If it had focused less on being stylish and more on developing its characters and plot, it could have been a masterpiece. Instead, it became a victim of its own style, leaving us with a show that's half as good as it should have been. Thanks for watching. See you next time.